All right, welcome back to season 2 of our show. We got a great one for you today. We're smoking up some salmon. We're going to show you how to get this cut up, seasoned up, and smoked up. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, now right here we have a 4.5 pound wild caught Alaskan salmon. So I don't like to buy anything that's not wild caught. If it's growing in a tank, it's just I just don't buy it. That's just me. You find them a little bit cheaper, but I'd rather pay a better price than not have a bunch of fish in a tank eating everything that's in that tank that they produce themselves. So you know what I mean. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to get this into pieces. Now I have the skin on this, and I like to smoke this purely with the skin on. And if you're smoking it with the skin off, you're losing a lot of moisture in there. So a lot of people don't like the skin, but we're not actually gonna eat the skin, we're actually eating the fish. So what I'll do is I'll start just with the tail end, and I'll get about there. And gently cut through. And I'm gonna start to piece it out. The reason why I'm doing that, that's a thin end here. And that's gonna cook a lot faster than the rest of this. So I'm just gonna drag this on here. And I'm gonna keep my pieces about so, like that. Do again. That skin is always the hard part to get through. And cut the next one about there. Now I like to cut them up in pieces, so if your grill's not cooking even, you can kind of move them around, or your smoker. And like I said, these are getting smoked today, and I like nice even pieces, so I come here right in the middle. Now the way I serve this is I just take some fish, put them on a plate. A little piece on the end there. All right, so we got that done, and now we're gonna season. So let's just slide this board out of here. And we're going with a very simple seasoning today, because fish, it doesn't need a lot of seasoning. And if you gotta pack a bunch of seasonings onto your fish, maybe you should be eating fish. All right, we're gonna go with a little light salt. I mean very light. Just a dusting. Not heavy. This is kosher salt. Coarse kosher salt, and a little bit on that end. It's going to take the moisture out of this fish if you go too hard on it. So you don't want to do that. And these ends of the fish that are very thin, I don't put that much salt on there at all. And the thicker parts, they'll get the heavier blunt of the salt. Just like that. A little bit heavier on there, and that's it. So we're gonna go in with some coarse black pepper. I put some in my hand. And the nice part about this, I could just get a good visual of how much I'm putting on. I'm not gonna put too much to overpower the fish. Just like that. I got a pinch of it in my hand. Some on the end. And it all depends. I mean, you can put whatever you like on your fish, but definitely go easy with the salt on any fish, and especially on salmon if you're smoking it. Most people don't know what to do when it comes to smoking fish, but I'm showing you today. All right. Put that little bit on there. We're done. The only thing that's left to do is set the color. So we're gonna use some spray oil, and we're just gonna go on like that. And you have to set the color. That's it. And when I say set the color, you're not going to get that nice golden color that you would normally get out of the fish if you don't put that oil on there. So the fish is already oily. This is a cold water fish and it's already fatty and oily. And you want to protect that oil and you want to protect that fat by putting that coating of oil over top. It's going to be the first layer of protection on there. And then when you see the white come out of the fish, or you see a little bit of white come out of the fish, you know it's done. So these are going to be on the smoker. They're going to smoke about 45 minutes, and we'll meet you out on the cooker. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, this is what we're rolling with today. This is a custom-made fish cooker designed for just smoking fish. So this is the inside of this. Now, this is designed just for fish. If you put anything else on here, and if you put chicken or anything else on here, it's just gonna blacken. So this is my wood setup here. I've got a Lodge cast iron little, they call this the Sportsman grill in here. Now, again, this was designed by myself, so my fish is just a certain distance away from my fire. You could see how just all the creosote in here is just caked onto this grill. It's been like this for years, and I've had this grill for years, and this is the only thing I cook on it is fish. And this is my wood setup here. We're running red oak today, Georgia staple. My fire setup is in the middle, and when I get the fire started, I'm going to put several pieces of that wood in here, about 4. If you look over to my right, I've got a lot of wood set up here, and that's all going to be set up just to cook this fish. And when we get set up, we'll show you what it looks like. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Our fire's lit, and my coals are in the middle. I'm going to place this piece of wood just right on top, just like this. And I'm going to close this little door so you can see the fire's cranking from the back. And I'm going to get this piece of wood just right in there. Just like that, on top. Close this little door so it doesn't fall through. And I still got my fire going in the back. So we want a nice smoky fire, we want low heat, and we want smoke. This is one of the situations where you want just a dirty fire. And only with fish, the smoke is going to penetrate it, but that's what you want. You want a real smoky fire. And when we get back here, we're going to show you how smoky that fire is really going to get. All right, so fire is cranking. We're going to let this crank out for a little bit. We're going to burn down some of this wood, and then we're going to put our food on. Stabilize it, and away she goes. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we stabilized this fire. We're almost ready to put the fish on. Let's show you how smoky this thing really gets. That's what you want. And if you look at the fire, it's burning easy. And you're almost turning it into like just a hot smoke. And that's what you want. Now, I put my hand, how I judge this is I'll put my hand on the tank. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. If my hand can still stay here, I'm not hot enough, so I'll open up my damper and back. And I'm going to open it up until I can keep my hand here for 5 seconds, and then try to shut it down and just keep it at that level. That's it. So we're going to go put the fish on a little bit, stabilize this fire, let her go from there. All right, while our fire is stabilizing out there, we're just going to show you a quick cabbage meal. So right here we have purple cabbage, green cabbage, yellow onion, and a red onion. Let's get to it. We're going to use half of this cabbage, maybe the whole thing, not sure, but it's a smaller cabbage. And we're going through it. We're going to go through it pretty quick. I'm going to lay this flat so I don't get my fingers. And just start to cut around with the core. of this cabbage. Now, the pieces you want are like that, so let's get them in. Just put them in, chop them in half, these pieces, and they're just going to be different sizes, so you'll go through this pretty quick. Let's get that off to the side. Just like that. And these are the sizes you want them because it's not going to make a difference. We're not using it for slaw. It's a cabbage dish. All right, let's find our core. Our core is over here. And we're going to cut around it close as we can. Without wasting the cabbage. All right, that's about it. Put that core off to the side. And half that. Now you get through this pretty quickly. And this is how I conquer a cabbage. I'll chop off the end like that. Get it to the point where it doesn't roll, where it's steady. Just chop off the ends, the sides. Half them. And in they go. Now, this is a very basic, simple dish. We got some bacon going in here too, and who doesn't love bacon? And you can do this, it only takes 45 minutes to cook, so you could do this rather quickly. Now I mix my colors because it just leads for a beautiful presentation when you're doing this. And the hardest thing is just getting through your cabbage. For those of you guys that aren't big on knives, just cut them smaller. Or you can buy cabbage already cut up for you. A little bit more money, but you can do that. I'm just gonna leave these pieces nice and big like that. All right, so I got some yellow onion and some purple onion to go. I just want to show you guys just the basics on the cabbage, because that's the hardest part here to this cabbage, is actually cutting up the cabbage. And again, I go right down to the core, no waste. There you have it, just like that. So I'm going to get to cutting up these onions and add them to it. And once we get the onions at it, we'll meet you right back here. Okay, so our cabbage is cut up. I cut up the onions. This is the size you want to put them in. You don't want tiny little onions, you don't want them falling through, but they're all going to get cooked down into the cabbage. We've got some potatoes here. These are little small red potatoes. I don't want these to break apart inside the cabbage, so what I'll do is just into the pressure cooker they go. 15 minutes. So right when the cabbage is about to get done, these will run for about 15 minutes and then into the cabbage they go. And that's it. So we're gonna get this onto the stove and meet you right back here. Let's go outside and check on the cooker. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're still stabilizing this fire. Let's get this open, show you what we got going on. Now that this fire is getting cooked down, I'm gonna knock this down. I'm gonna add another piece of wood on here. And I'm gonna add another piece of wood. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna give me a real dirty smoke. This is the only time that you're gonna run a dirty smoke. And I'm gonna start to close down. I don't have my gloves, but I'm gonna use this piece of wood. Close my little opener here. That's it. Let's close her up. Let her stabilize. let it chill out for about 15 minutes, and on with the fish we go. All right, we're ready to cook some cabbage. Okay, so we let our pan heat up. We got a little olive oil in the bottom of there. We're gonna drop some bacon in. So I cut some bacon up. And get some bacon cooked down. Now the thing with the bacon is that you don't want to kill it. You don't want to cook it to the point where it's dead. But we're just going to render it down. Because when it's in here, it's going to be nice and loose. So right now the bacon's on high heat, and we're not going to add any salt to this because this is a whole pound of bacon. And it's going to add the salt on its own, just through the bacon. So let that just render down a bit. Everybody has their ways of making cabbage. This is mine. I don't like cabbage that's soaked in water and just soggy. It's back in the days they used to do that. They'll boil up a bunch of water, throw some cabbage in there. Even when I do my corned beef and cabbage, I don't do my cabbage that way. I don't throw my cabbage in all the water of the corned beef. I'll braise the cabbage and use a small amount of the liquid in there. And the cabbage is going to release enough liquid. Okay, here we go. So as you see the bacon starting to render down like that, and it's starting to firm up, you let it go a little bit longer, and we're going to start dropping our onion in. Just a couple of pieces. Just to get some flavor going. Kind of calm down that bacon. And we're still on high, and I'm scrubbing the bottom of the pot a little bit. Just to bring up those bacon bits. And the onion in here is going to bring them up. Throw a little bit more onion. I try to use most of my onion right off the bat with the bacon to build that flavor. And just sweat the onion down a little bit. Get that flavor out of it. Now that we have that, we're going to start to drop in the cabbage. And we're going to load it up. Now, this is on high heat, and I want to get that water out of the cabbage. So, a lot of you guys are going to think that I'm overloading this pot, but I'm really not, because this cabbage is going to shrink down. And that's what you want. I'm actually going to stack this cabbage and let it fall down on its own. As you can see, we're almost through. This is a 7-quart pot. We're almost through this cabbage. And I didn't save any off to the side. This is every bit of it. And that is all she wrote. Right there, all in the pot. So what we'll do is we're going to let this cook down. We're going to let this reduce down. It'll be about half this pot when it's done. And then we're going to meet you right back here. We're not going to put the lid on. We're just going to let it cook down, and we're going to stir it as it goes down. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we've been on the stove now for about 10 minutes. That's all. And we're starting to reduce this down. You can see it was up to here before, and now it's coming down. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add just a little white distilled vinegar. That's it. Add a little moisture to it. Stir it around. Get the bigger pieces on the bottom. And then I'm going to reduce the heat and drop it back and put the lid on it. Let it steam down a little bit. And if I need to get some of the water out of there, I'll just turn the heat back up. But right now I think we're doing great. Reducing down. All right. We're gonna put the lid on this and drop it down about medium heat. Actually, I'll put it up to about a number 7. And then I'm gonna go get my fish on. I'll meet you right back here. All right, time to get this fish on. Ooh, look at that. That is what you want. All right, I'm gonna get these on real fast and get my grill stabilized back to where she was. That smoke is crazy. And as you can see, the fire is kicking again. All right, let's get her closed up. And that will be that. All right. 45 minutes she goes, and she comes off. All right, so we're about 20 minutes in, 22 minutes in to be precise, and let's just check out what we got here. See how much smoke that is? So I'm gonna show you a quick peek, and then we're gonna close her up. All right, time to close up. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Our cabbage is reduced down. Let's just take a look at that. We got our potatoes out of the pressure cooker, and we're just gonna take a look at that cabbage. See that? I'm gonna let it go for a little longer. And now while I'm letting this go, we're gonna put a couple of friends in here with it. A couple of potatoes. So we're gonna get some potatoes in here. They're out of the pressure cooker. And by the time this cabbage is done, these potatoes will be cooked perfectly. I took them out just a little bit on the hard side on purpose so they will cook inside here. And that's it. So let's run these guys in here. And we're pretty much done. Now we got enough potatoes and cabbage to feed a small army. Two more to go. Let's get some room going on in here. and here we have it. So we're gonna cover them back up. Let this steam off. It's on low. And we're done. We'll see you back here in a little bit. Don't go anywhere. All right, time to pull these. Let's see what we got. Time to get these guys off of here. I still got plenty of wood. All right. You can start to see the oil starting to come out of these. Once they start releasing the oil, you know it's time to pull them. All right, we got one more to go. And that's it. All right, we're gonna close her up. Meet you inside. All right, here we are back on season 2 shopping block. Let's show you what we got. Look at those. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, let's get into a piece. I think I'm gonna choose this one. Now look at all that juice that came out of there. Now our skin's in the back. You can see a nice golden color to the skin. And we're just gonna break into that. I want to show you how this just comes right off the skin. Look at that. Right off of there. We're gonna go into a piece. Show you how flaky that is. Moist. Gotta get a Pitmaster taste on there. Excellent. It's so smoky. All right, let's show you what this looks like on a plate. Nice little plate over here. We'll choose this one right here. Looks like it'll plate up quite well. I'll place it down like that. Now, this is that nice potatoes and cabbage we made, or cabbage and potatoes. I just want to show you, this is how I like my cabbage. Now we're going to take a couple of potatoes, put them on the board, and I'm going to cut them just in half, just to be served like that. And we're going to go in with our cabbage. Now this is why I mix the colors, and you can drain it a little bit, so this way you're not wetting up the plate. And if you can see this cabbage, it's still got life in it. It's not just all drained out in the water. Life drained out of it. We got some lights, we got some nice darks, and that's how we're going to plate it up, just like that, and a little greenery on top. All right, I'm going to bring this back over to our bench and finish it off. Let's go on with a little parsley on top of our potatoes. We'll turn it that way so you guys can get a good shot of that. And we're going to follow off with a nice thin piece of pickled onion on here. Now we have a video released. It shows how to pickle these nice onions, and you can check it out. We'll put a link in the description for you, and I'll show you how to make these guys. You don't want to miss that, because these are excellent. Alright, and that's it. That will be our plate. I can put that over here. And we're going to just show you what that looks like. At that angle, we'll turn it to that angle. Give you a little view. And we can turn it to that angle. But the angle I love the best will be that angle. Alright, we're going to get situated here, and we're going to meet you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, and there it is. Smoked salmon. With cabbage and potatoes. Homemade pickled onions. Can't go wrong. And if you like this video and more videos that are about to come, please hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that little notification bell. This way you get all the videos first. This way you get the videos first. Again, thank you for coming. We enjoyed having you. And with no further ado, gotta give that little Pitmaster taste there.